ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Jeff Moyer and his lovely wife, Chris. Jeff is a disability rights activist and one of the greatest musicians I've ever met. Did I say that right, Jeff?
The greatest.
The greatest. Okay.
Yeah.
And Jeff has been active in disability rights for more than 40 years, and certainly has been playing music even longer. But Jeff is from Cleveland, I'm from Cleveland, Dave's from Cleveland. If we have any other Clevelanders out there that want to join in on one of the songs Jeff sings, I'm sure he'll be happy with that. So, Jeff, on behalf of VSA and CTD, I want to welcome you to the Austin Amphitheater. He's recently renovated to add on another balcony. Now, can you folks in the top balcony hear us? Okay, great.
The great thing about blindness is it's true. You know,
Go Cleveland.
go Cleveland.
Go Cleveland.
Go Cleveland, yeah.
All right, Jeff, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Gene. It's a pleasure to be back in Austin. I've played here half a dozen times or so, and thanks to Gene with alarming regularity on my annual trips here to see family and friends, including Gene. I want to begin by talking to you about what it must feel like to be a Texan, because the greatest disability rights unity voice came from Texas in the person of the late Justin Dart Jr. And when I heard him speak for the first time in 1988, I realized that I was in the presence of an historic figure. And I've been fortunate enough to insert myself into a lot of disability history. Not that I was invited, but I said, hey, can I help with that? Could I do that, something on that? So when I heard Mr. Dart speak, I went up to him afterwards and said, your oratory is so powerful, I'd like to record it and integrate it with the Disability Rights album. And in 1999, I did that. And the ADA Restoration Act bus used that oratory and some of my integrated songs on their tour. And I want to begin with Mr. Dart speaking to a group of longtime advocates. And if you're new to the advocacy movement, think about this as something that you are the you he is speaking to. But listen to what Mr. Dart has to say to us about being part of the movement to change America.
Keyword menu. Folder name. Center for One Disability. List of all documents. 504. Destination drive. Exit. Play media file image folder. Center for general. One disability media with one Justin.
Okay, here we go.
You are the real patriots. 26.
You have provided cutting-edge leadership,
24.
initiatives that have given millions of Americans with disabilities the potential to move out of institutions, out of poverty, and off of welfare to productivity and community. From independent living, IDEA, and deinstitutionalization, to supported employment, supported living, assistive technology, self-advocacy, and the historic ADA, you have led the way. Your passionate principles and creativity have enlarged the lives of millions of people like me. I thank you. I congratulate you on your courageous leadership. You are the real patriots of today.
And certainly the adapter.
File to play. Center for One Justin Dart. You are the real patriots. MP3.
The real patriots, people who put their own comfort on the line to help others. And that's what Justin Dart was talking about. And all of us are doing that by just being here and standing up for the arts and communicating our most passionate and intense feelings through the medium that we've been given. So Justin Dart will begin, and he'll come up later in the presentation.
One Justin exit main menu. Where people talk Justin Dart some may walk.
Okay, this is a song that I wrote for a young woman who you would think had everything. She came from a wealthy family, lived in a beautiful home, but at school she wasn't included and was ridiculed, and because of that her parents decided to send her to a segregated school for people with disabilities. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that choice, but she was unhappy about leaving her home and her family and her community. And so at her going away party, I wrote this song for her. And it turns out that it works real well as sort of a call and response. So if you feel inclined, every time I sing a line, sing it back. Especially the short lines, just as is. The longer lines, just the first part of it, you'll get it. It goes like this. Now some may walk upon the ground, and some may sit and wheel their way to get around, and some may run throughout the day, but everyone will move it on in their own way. Now I can move, and I am free, 'cause I can get from here to there with dignity. It's my own way, and in my heart. And then we sing this line together. I know the peace that comes from playing my own part. Once again now, I know the peace that comes from playing my own part. I know the peace that comes from playing my own part. Now some may sing their thoughts in song, and some may speak with slower speech, but none are wrong. Our thoughts will rise like birds on wing, if we will trust, if we will share, if we will sing. Now I can sing, and I am free, 'cause I can tell you my own thoughts with dignity. It's my own way, and in my heart, I know the peace that comes from my own. Do it again like you mean it. I know the peace that comes from playing my own part. All creatures here, both great and small, all have a way of doing things. It's true for all. Not right nor wrong, just different ways. And in that wisdom we are living a happier day. Now I know peace, and I am free, because I'm living my own life with dignity. It's my own way, and in my heart, I know the peace that comes from playing my own part. I know the peace that comes from playing my own part. I know the peace that comes from playing my own part. Thank you. Dave, I've played at the Pittsburgh Employment Conference a couple times. And a number of my songs, in fact, a whole album was converted to male and female pitch ranges for download into people using Deck Talk. This is back years ago when Deck Talk was hardware. And then it was converted by some PRC engineers into a form that could be used with software dictaphone. And it was amazing to hear people singing my songs in their many different voices. I'll give you a sample of that a little later.
Dulcimer, you can deny.
Okay, dulcimer, please. I went to a conference at the Smithsonian Institution a number of years ago. I was working as a consultant for a museum, big museum in Cleveland, to integrate people with disabilities more completely in both in the exhibits and making the exhibits themselves accessible. So the conference sponsored by the Smithsonian was about disability in the presentation of American history. And I thought I knew most of American history vis-a-vis disability, but I learned quite a lot and wrote this song then based on the voice of the universal person with a disability throughout American history. I was born to you a child with needs, through no fault of my own. You saw me as a cripple, put me from your home. You did not feed or clothe me, you left me there to die. And you told yourself it was God's will, but now you can't deny. And we all sing this part. You can't deny me now, no, no. You can't deny me now. You can't deny me now, no, no. You can't deny me now. Let's do it together. You can't deny me now, no, no. You can't deny me now. I left my native homeland by ship to your fair shore. But there at Ellis Island, you barred me from the door. You called me a defective, you would not let me in. But no more begging at the door, you tore me from my kin. You can't deny me now, no, no. You can't deny me now. You can't deny me now, no, no. You can't deny me now. Your doctor told my parents, just move on with your lives. This child is better put away. He'll only bring you strife. Think of your normal children, a burden to you all. We have a place for such as him behind the prison wall. You can't deny me now, no, no. You can't deny me now. So you put me in that prison when I was just a child. And with thousands more you caged away in dungeons hard and wild. The dead were laid in numbered rows, no stone, no family tie. But there will be no more of that. You can't, you won't deny. You can't deny me now, no, no. You can't deny me now. Now science and abortion, dark players on the stage. But one by one the mothers wake and scream out love and rage. No more this new eugenics, no more the murderers lie. A life that is worth living, you can't, you won't deny. You can't deny me now, no, no. You can't deny me now. You can't deny me now, no, no. You You can't deny me now. You kept me from the others. No work, no home, no life. And barriers of myth and fear kept me prisoner in that life. But now we're strong and growing, on that you can rely. Set a new place at the table, 'cause I'll be stopping by. You can't deny me now, no, no. You can't deny me now. You can't deny me now, no, no. You can't, you won't deny me now. This is called a bass dulcimer. Thank you. Yeah, that's the first time I've performed that song in its entirety. It's a powerful song. It's tough to listen to, but that's the truth of American history is barbaric when it comes to us. My brother was born with a severe cognitive disability, and when he was a kid, my parents were told, not him, not here. At nursery schools, even a co-op nursery my mother started at church, public schools, even schools for kids with disabilities, not him, not here. Before IDEA, before 504, before ADA. So he was sent to an institution when he was 9, and places of horrible abuse, violence, theft, everything he was given stolen immediately. Being made to wear ill-fitting shoes out of a bag, clothes that were handed to him that weren't his, that he might have to hold up because they were so baggy and he had no belt. Places where your food would be stolen if you didn't eat quickly. Places where they used cigarettes to motivate people. So he began smoking when he was 9, and he died of lung cancer last year. But over the course of 20 years of advocacy, I got him out of the institution and established a home for him in the community. And he lived for a time as close enough I could walk to his home, but I supported him and supported living for 25 years, and he lived a full life at the end. But my brother's life mirrored that terrible time in American history that lasted for over a century. And it's not finished yet. There are still institutions in Texas, in all the states. They're smaller, they clean them up. But I did a documentary called Lest We Forget, interviewed 35 hours of people who lived inside, their families, people who worked inside, advocates who worked to establish community alternatives. And one of the guys I interviewed, a psychological assistant, said, they still handcuff people to their ankles, and they still handcuff people to their waists and to the wall, because it's easier to control them that way. And if you were handcuffed, how would you behave? So if you lived in 16 people, how many are, about 16 of us here, aren't there?
A little more than that.
All right.
I'd say about 25.
25, well suppose you were told, we're gonna be forced to live together in 4 people in a bedroom, in common rooms where you wouldn't be able to get away from other people. You'd have no privacy. That's what we're doing to people today who don't have advocates to get them out. And ADAPT is so important because it's the organization that stands up and says, that's just not right. Auto heart, please.
Right there to your right. And your brace is on it.
Oh, good. I was asked to play for a conference of the fastest growing community in the disability rights world, and that's people with head injuries. There are more people living now with head injuries. In 1970, 90% of people who experienced traumatic brain injuries died. By 1990, 90% were living, and I'm sure the figure is higher now. So that world of people who have had traumatic brain injuries, and I discovered that they refer to themselves, thank you, honey, as survivors. And, you know, when I began to think about the word survivor, it applies to so many people. Parents who have lost children to violence call themselves survivors. People who have lived inside mental hospitals call themselves survivors. And I was sitting next to a woman on an airplane one time, and we were talking about, she saw that I was blind and having trouble with the food they had served, and so she asked if I needed her help, and I gladly accepted it. And she said, she spoke with a German accent, she said, you know, the most difficult thing in my life is I have a limp, congenital hip problem, and I limp, and people look at me so strange, and it's the most difficult thing I have to overcome. And she said, can you see my arm? I said, no. She says, if you could, you'd see the concentration camp numbers tattooed on my arm. I was in the concentration camp. So here's a woman, the survivor of concentration camps, but the most difficult thing she has to overcome daily is people staring at her because of her difference of limping, just limping. And that to her is more difficult than surviving in concentration camp. Amazing to me, that juxtaposition. So this is a song I hope you'll sing with me. It goes like this. We are survivors. We are survivors. We are survivors. And we're moving on. We are survivors. We are survivors. We are survivors. And we're moving on. Our path is turning. Our path is turning. Our path is turning. And we're moving on. For we are survivors. We are survivors. We are survivors. And we're moving on. After 9/11, I got a letter from a woman, and she said, this is on one of my workbooks and CD combinations for schools called We're People First. And she said, we've just about worn out that song. After the buildings came down and the firefighters were killed, her children in 5th grade wanted to sing this song every day because it made them feel the united energy of people who were alive and living and moving forward past what happened to all of us that day. We are courageous. We are courageous. We are courageous. We are courageous. And we're moving on. We are victorious. We are victorious. We are victorious. And we're moving on. For we are survivors. We are survivors. We are survivors. We're moving on, and we're moving on, and we're moving on. We are survivors, all of us. Think about it. There isn't a person here that hasn't suffered some sort of loss in the last 5 years. Maybe loss of a job, loss of a relationship, death of a friend. Is our friend from the military still here? No. Yeah. Well, think about what the losses he's endured. That is what unites us as people with disabilities with everyone else, because we've experienced profound losses that have changed our lives, that have required us to do things that are more difficult and take more time to accomplish the same thing. And you do that every day. You get up and live the next day because you're a survivor, because you haven't given into it. You came out today because you're a survivor. You're living. You've not said, I'm going to sit at home and feel my aloneness. I was here, but didn't have it memorized, so this is my first shot at it, and I just wrote the melody yesterday. I live alone among the very old within the county's nursing home. Supper served at 4 o'clock each day, 6:30's bed unless you get to stay in your wheelchair just out there in the hall. That doesn't happen very much at all. I want to live where the air is fresh and clean. Out of this place, you can't know what I mean. The food is soft because they have no teeth. We all wear gowns, we're easier to clean. My roommate moans, curved in a fetal pose. The TV's mine, one good thing, I suppose. I want to live where the air is fresh and clean. Out of this place, you can't know what I mean. About twice a week, another old one dies. Up goes the sheet, but no one mourns or cries. The morgue guy comes, wheels them away. I knew their name. I'm sad about a day. I want to live where the air is fresh and clean. Out of this place, you can't know what I mean. A guy came here, he said he'd get me out. I felt so great, it made me want to shout. He's from a debt, they've done it all before. It's not just me, must be a million more who just like me are stuck in nursing home hell. Please get us out, we need someone to yell. I want to live where the air is fresh and clean. Out of this place, you can't know what I mean. The history of disability rights is about the history of people taking action. And the first time that ever happened, the first cross-disability action, where people with different disabilities were acting on behalf of each other's needs, was the Section 504 demonstration in San Francisco in 1977. I was part of that, and I knew how music had served the civil rights movement in the 60s. I was part of that movement as well. And you live as long as I do, and you keep kind of an iron in the fire concerning what's going on in the world. It's amazing how much history passes your door. So this I was familiar with a song from the Civil Rights Movement, which was a spiritual converted to that song, for that movement, and then I borrowed it and we made it part of the 504 movement. And that became the longest occupation of a federal building in United States history, 28 days, and it became the cornerstone upon which the ADA was built. So your part goes like this. Oh boy, I'm out of tune, I'm not gonna use a harmonica. Yeah, right. That's just clear as can be. Civil rights were knocking at our door. Now, Jimmy Carter promised he'd sign the regulations as drafted. They were written in 1973. It was now 1977. Federal law is that after a law is signed, regulations have to be promulgated or written and released so the law lives and breathes in the life of the country. 4 years had gone by. Carter said I'd sign the regulations as drafted. He got in and he said, no, separate but equal. People with disabilities will have separate schools, separate hospital situations, separate places in restaurants. And we said, absolutely not. So that's what this verse means. Civil rights were knocking at our door, but Carter wouldn't stand on 504. Keep your eye on the prize and hold on. Hold on. You gotta hold on. Keep your eye on the prize and hold on. Your part goes, hold on. You gotta hold on. Keep your eye on the prize and hold on. After 4 years of delay, we've come to claim the ground we've gained. We have our eye on the prize. We'll hold on. Hold on. We gotta hold on. And keep your eye on the prize and hold on. 150 people unafraid with disabilities stayed. They had their eye on the prize. They held on. They held on. You know they had to hold on. They kept their eye on the prize. They held on. 38 years have rolled on past the door, but we still must fight for 504. We have our eye on the prize. We'll hold on. Hold on. You gotta hold on. And keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the prize and hold on. I was performing one morning. I didn't stay overnight most nights because I had an infant son and my responsibilities as a father were critical. So, but I was asked to stay over nights when there was going to be an early morning event. So I walked outside of the Federal Building in San Francisco and there was a microphone set up and I started singing and some woman out of the crowd came up and doing a beautiful harmony with me. And there was a TV camera rolling and I thought it was a local station. We were getting a lot of local press. And I went home that night and the phone rang and my sister in Ohio said, I was living in Berkeley, said, turn on the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite. You open the show. And there I was using that song to communicate what we were doing. Because it does, you know, that's what music can do. It just tells you the story in not so many words, like so many of the other songwriters before me. One verse and you understood the story of the song. So music is still so powerful, and we shouldn't waste it. It's a great gift. Okay, this is a song that you have a part to sing. I was doing a lot of work in schools, and I didn't want them to think I was this larger than life guy that, was different than they were. So I wrote this song about a true story when I was a boy, and you have a part to sing. It goes like this. He played the accordion. That's all you sing. He played the accordion. As he slowly walked along, he played the accordion. He knew so many songs. He played the accordion. Filled the summer air down the sidewalks of my memory. I always hear him there. Well, I grew up in the 650s on a street in Cleveland Heights. Around the block there was an A&P. The guy with the accordion would slowly walk the block. One foot felt for the tree lawn. I knew he couldn't see. He played the accordion. As he slowly walked along, he played the accordion. He knew so many songs. He played the accordion. It filled the summer air down the sidewalks of my memory. I always hear him there. Well, the kids were all afraid of him, and when he came in view, we all would fall to silence and stare as kids will do. Each eye was trained upon him as his music rang so sweet. When he'd walked on past us, we'd act blind and drag our feet. He played the accordion. As he slowly walked along, he played the accordion. He knew so many songs. He played the accordion. Filled the summer air down the sidewalk of my memory. I always hear him there. Well, I guess that I was maybe 10. It wasn't quite a dare, but I stepped right out and I cut him off. Could he tell that I was there? I stared up into his face. It was soft and kind and round. Old shoes, a dirty t-shirt, shoes that scuffed the ground. How could I know that years from then I too would play my songs, and kids might stare or be afraid or wonder what went wrong. But maybe in some memory in reverie's soft refrain, just like that summer's music, my songs will live again. He played the accordion as he slowly walked along. He played the accordion. He knew so many songs. He played the accordion. Filled the summer air down the sidewalk of my memory. I always hear him there. he played the accordion. And you know, I've sung that song in many places, and I've had people from Florida and Texas and other cities in Ohio say, I know that guy. I saw a blind guy playing an accordion in front of a grocery store. I think it must have been a way that guys could, make a few bucks, like being a street musician, like an early form of opening your guitar case on the sidewalk.
Right.
But he took his to the people. He walked around the neighborhood. He didn't just stay in one place. As I mentioned, my brother, who was my greatest teacher, was institutionalized as a child. And he was put in a place that was worse than a prison. Prisoners under the Geneva Convention and even under just state law have more rights than we give people in those institutions. And I wrote this song, and it's been used many times in many other productions because it's about that idea that he was institutionalized for the crime of being different. For the crime of being different, for the crime of being slow, for the crime of not quite fitting in, we sentence you to go, where you will be with others who are also of your kind, far, far away from city lights, out of sight and out of mind. Your sentence is quite final. There can be no appeal. You have no right of protest, no defense, nor free man's bail. And within the institution, and away from prying eyes, pain and grinding tedium will become a way of life. Through the power of the people and in the wisdom of the state, we sentence you to go away and live your star-crossed fate. Perhaps in time these walls will fall and these prisons will be shut, but till that time the sentence stands, the state's will shall be done. The ADA was passed in 1990, and my brother in 1981 moved from that institution to allegedly a better place, still violent, still thievery, still no privacy. And in 2000, the Olmsted decision, 2000, remember Gene, 2000?
Gene's up here.
What was the question?
The Olmsted decision,
Oh, gee.
2004, I think. It said that by institutionalizing people, you were denying them of their civil rights to live in community and enjoy the freedom to go to a coffee shop on a Sunday afternoon and listen to people perform. So the ADA has led to people like my brother getting out of institutions. Powerful, wonderful law. So I long for assistive technology, about all the ways, look at the means of assistive technology we use here today. Augmentative communication devices and wheelchairs of all kinds. And the glasses I wear that protect my eyes, although I'm blind, I still am light sensitive. And talking watches and talking computers. So this is a song called Assistive Technology Boogie. Set the price so I can buy it, and give me places where I can really try it. I want choices like my sisters and brothers, I want to choose one from the other. Give me time to review it and let me talk to other folks who have used it. We'll build an elegant and clean, a functional machine, sweet, sweet, assistive technology. Technology, technology, I'll tell you what it means to me. Technology, technology, it's my key to being free. Well, give me teachers who can teach it, and when I'm ready to use, let me use it. I want it to work first thing in the morning and never break down without warning. We'll build durable and flexible and friendly, make it rugged, tough and sexy, make it trendy. And if you want to know how it should be, well then why don't you just ask me? Sweet, sweet, assistive technology. It lets me roll, slip, ripple and glide, voice the feelings that I'm holding inside. It's my access to the printed page and my key to electronic age. Well, it's the way that I can reach and stand. It's my eyes, my ears, my legs, and my hands. Well, it's my key to the highway so wide. It's my ace, it's my ticket to ride. Sweet, sweet, assistive technology. By the way, there is a festival every year called Superfest, and it's a disability film and media convention or conference in Berkeley. And that song was put to a very cute, very powerful animation by a guy named Hoyt Hazington, and it won Best in Access. It was the first fully accessible song that had sign language interpreting, open captioning for blind people, and that captioning spoken, so you can get a version where you can, if you're blind, you can hear what's going on the screen. So it's accessible to all people. And best in access and best in innovation. So we've taken away that year. Speaking of that, let me play for you a song. I was at a camp where we were an augmentative communication, a lot of augmentative communication users were there. And we took 12 songs from people first and had them available for download. People could read the lyrics and then decide what songs they liked. The amazing thing, their devices at the time could only accept 3 songs by just virtue of the memory. And those 4 people, each selecting 3 different songs, independent of each other, selected all 12 songs in the collection. I thought that was so cool. And then we did a performance night, and everyone, like now, and one of the AugCom users sang one of my songs. And I'll play that for you now. It's called The Friendship Song.
Media file to play with the Friendship Song SC Volume 28.
1, 2, 3, 4.
32.
Well, if we live with disability, but that's not all there is, my friend, to me. Sometimes I don't get even a chance to move within the loving friendship lands. I think it is a matter of survival. I forget that loneliness can do. Well, and we'll be
Friends throughout our lives. With friendship we can flourish and we thrive. Give to you while friend you give to me. A friend, and friends need friends indeed. I think it is a matter of survival. It's sad that loneliness can kill.
It's written by the prophets in the Bible, yeah, and all that ancient wisdom matters still. I think it is a matter of survival.
I've heard it said that loneliness can kill. It's written by the poets and in the Bible. Oh yeah, all that ancient wisdom matters still. All that ancient wisdom matters still. And all that ancient wisdom matters still.
And all that ancient wisdom matters still.
It does.
Media type keyword. Keep what is there for me to say the anthem?
I'm running short on time. Yeah.
It's 5:25.
Yeah, 5:25. So I'm going to close with a couple songs related to the ADA. We're coming up on its historic 25th anniversary. Guitar, please, yeah. I was, because I had met Justin Dart and spoken to him, I sent him my disability rights music, and he got to know my work and wrote a very nice review for me that I used. And then I came home from a vacation on July 25th, 1990, and lo and behold, on my desk was an invitation to the White House for the signing of the ADA. This is a day before it happened. So I called Justin Dart and said, could you work me into the program? A local group was playing at the White House. It was called the Marine Band, I think. But so, you know, they were already had the gig. But I was able to play at the Senate, which is, you know, better than nothing. And any senators listening to this, I'm kidding, it was a great honor, it really was. But, so this is the ADA anthem, and I've played it ever since, and you, of course, have a part. I wrote it originally for rallies around the law when we were moving to get it into law. ADA, we stand as one to see it through. Civil rights overdue. There we have it, let's sing it. ADA, we stand as one. We stand as one to see it through. To see it through. ADA, civil rights overdue. ADA, civil rights overdue. Now in the disability rights movement have been the streams of constant change, for the worse and for the better, in flux it has remained. But to move it with decision toward human dignity, we gathered as one, there was work to be done, for we held only part of the key. That would have been 504. Hey! Civil rights overdue, but to shape new legislation based on laws as then in place, bringing power to the people whose lives these things embrace. So we formed a coalition, and the system surely moved. It's the law today, it's the ADA, and the balance has improved. ADA, we stand as one to see it through. ADA, civil rights overdue, and for those labeled disabled, a change will be perceived. A freer step across the land on the road to liberty. As we sang this song together, nearly 30 years, 25 years today, it's together we have a as we work for the ADA. ADA, we stand as one to see it through. Civil rights so very long overdue. I'll just close by saying that we are far from finished. There every now and then there's a movement to take the guts out of the ADA and 504 an idea, and we have to be vigilant. And the ADA intentionally did not include blind people because Senator Harkin's staff said that the other senators believed that it would be too expensive. So they said, wait, be patient, and when the restoration of the law comes around, we'll include you then. Well, the restoration law came around and we weren't included. So whereas curb cuts are a national responsibility, accessible transit crossings, pedestrian crossings are local option. And the many lousy systems that are out there that go cuckoo and tweet that are very hard to use. When there was a technology called talking signs that I advocated for 20 years without being paid, was the vice president of marketing, and we got federal legislation passed. But it was very badly implemented and it didn't prove what we needed to prove. We then had a $25 million piece of the highway bill in 2010 that would have made Washington, D.C. the first accessible city for people who can't see or can't read signs. And that would have happened, but the Republicans didn't want to give Obama any kind of success, so they killed the highway bill, and that was the end of that. So the technology now is no longer a company. The idea was you'd hold a receiver, and as you pointed, you'd hear men's room, women's room, the crosswalk, the status of the walk, don't walk sign, what bus is coming. And it worked. It was beautiful technology. But because we weren't included in the ADA, it is no longer available. So we have a lot of work to do. It's up to every one of us. We begin with retard jokes, of course. Never, ever tell a joke disparaging to people with other disabilities. And if you hear people telling such jokes, get in their face and say, that's ridicule. That's like the N-word. Retard is our N-word. And get active about it. Don't let it happen. My son stood up in a comedy club when a guy was telling a string of retard jokes and said, that's not funny, you're ridiculing people who have no control over that aspect of their life. And he was nearly thrown out of the club. And the comic said, no, he's right, let him come back. And he changed his pattern. But we can make change, but we have to be active. Speak up, speak out, and I'll close with Justin Dart saying that to each and every one of you.
Media file to Justin Dart.
Absolutely. Don't wait for anyone. You don't need a title or an invitation to make history. You can be a revolution of one. Today, speak out, reach out, mobilize. If you can motivate, if you can activate, if you can educate just a handful of those beautiful Americans who are now spectators in the struggle, we can win. Unity is power. Let us overwhelm fear and fallacy with our vision of an America that empowers all.
Solidarity forever. He recorded that in a hospital bed in his home in Washington. He had had 2 heart attacks in the 20 months before that. He was on oxygen. And he read it very weakly. And I said, Mr. Dart, this is going to be heard by people long after you're gone. And I want you to imagine you're speaking to 6,000 people who know nothing about disability. He was reading 4 paragraphs from a speech he had given a few years before that. And with that, he cleared his throat and asked his wife, Yoshiko, to bring him some oranges, which he ate. And he said, my dad was a professional football player, and at the halftime, he would eat oranges to power up for the second half. And with that, he cleared his throat, sat up fully in his hospital bed, and read with that majestic oratory that you just don't hear people speak with that brilliance and power of the human ability to communicate with speech. So I recorded it, and I'm very glad that I did. It's the only good recordings of his oratory, and it's now held by the Smithsonian Institution and the National Constitution Center in their collections, so they will continue to educate, advocate, and motivate people through the very voice of Justin Dart Jr. Thank you very much for letting me share my voice with you, and all of you sharing yours.